We are just over 2 weeks away from kickoff against TCU, and Colorado just did something that nobody would have predicted. Coach Prime has already radically changed the culture in Boulder, but it's not just the culture in the locker room. We'll get to all of that in just a moment, but we've told you guys about what Coach Prime and the Coach Prime effect has done in the transfer portal. You guys know that Coach Prime and the Buffaloes pulled in the #1 transfer portal class in the country, and you guys have seen what he's doing on the recruiting trail. Now, obviously, due to some health issues, which we're glad to hear he's recovering from, recruiting took a little bit of a slowdown in the summer. We expect that to come back in full force this fall. The Buffs have a lot of big-time visitors cooking up, and it's going to be special to see. But the big thing that no one is talking about is how Coach Prime is changing the culture around Colorado off the field and in the community. This week, Colorado Athletics announced a record-breaking year in donations given. A whopping $28 million in change was given to Colorado Athletics through the Buff Club, which if you're a Colorado supporter, you should be supporting. And this was the second year in a row that the club saw donations over $20 million in back-to-back years. This is huge for a couple of reasons that we'll talk about in just a moment. But what I want to point out is that this is no coincidence. A massive shout out to athletic director Rick George for being one of only a few athletic directors in the country who was willing to, I don't want to say take a chance because he didn't take a chance, but who was willing to work with and hire Coach Prime. Massive, massive investment there. And look how it's already paying him back. Donations up higher than they have been ever at Colorado in back-to-back years. And if you don't think that has something to do with the hiring of Coach Prime, well, then I don't know what to tell you. You maybe need to get your head out of the sand because that has everything to do with the hiring of Coach Prime. Now, what's really interesting about this and what's really exciting about this is that this is going to help Colorado and the Buffaloes in a massive way. First of all, it doesn't just help football. And I know you're tuned in right now because you're either a big Deion Sanders fan or you're a big Colorado fan. Either way, we're happy that you're here. But this doesn't just impact football. There are hundreds of student athletes on Colorado's campus who are going to benefit from this. Not just Coach Prime, not just his kids, not just Travis Hunter, not just Cormani McClain, the big, huge names that everyone knows, but literally hundreds of kids and their families are going to get a benefit from this. And the folks out in Boulder could not be happier about this going down. But when you look at football specifically, how is it going to help? Well, I'd love to talk about some of those things and really dive into it. But one of the big ways that this is going to help is just support, just financial support. Football, whether you like it, love it, don't like it, whatever your situation is, football is a business, and these businesses exist to make money. And the way that football programs and athletic programs are successful is by making more of it. And you know the saying, I don't mean to be cliche, but it absolutely takes money to make money. And so Colorado will need money to be able to operate at a high level. And we certainly think that they will be able to operate at that high level with the support and the finances that they now have. When you think about how Coach Prime will be able to hire with an expanded budget and not only on the field staff, which we've told you about some of the staff that is part of this Colorado makeup right now, but off the field staff, recruiting analysts, recruiting assistants, film breakdown, whatever you're looking to hire from, it takes a large group of people to be successful, and we truly do believe that Coach Prime will be able to increase the support with the increased revenue that's coming in. You also look at where they are in recruiting. Well, if your budget increases in total, then your budget for recruiting specifically should also and will also increase. You're going to see Colorado continue to be one of the top teams in the country when it comes to attracting talent, not only because of who the head man is, not only because of Coach Prime, but because of the increased budget that they will have. It also proves that there is a belief. There's a belief in not only Coach Prime, his staff, and the athletic department under Rick George, who obviously we'll talk about in a moment, got Colorado out of the Pac-12 and was the trendsetter to leave the Pac-12 in this latest round of conference realignment. But there's a belief in a longevity that Coach Prime is going to get this thing turned around and going to be there for a long time and make Colorado a destination again. We're not that far. I know it's a few decades ago, but we're not that far away from when Colorado won a national title. And so that's the expectation. And that's where things need to get back to in Boulder. And so with the increased donations, with folks ponying up with their wallets, which is where it's most important to happen. If you want to show support, you can show support with your mouth, but pulling out your pocketbook is a much different level of support. With that rolling in, it shows that fans and it shows that supporters are putting their money where their mouth is, and they truly do believe in what's going on with Coach Prime. Now, the biggest part of this news is not just this news alone, but it's the fact that you're going to now combine this money that you're getting in annual donations and in revenue coming in through the Buff Club with the money that you're about to get in the Big 12 and their new media deal. And that is, again, going to take things to an extremely different and new level for Colorado. You then look at what we just showed you highlights of, the spring game, and what ticket sales look like for just that. Now imagine you're playing against some of the best teams in the country in the Big 12 and the Pac-12, teams like USC and others this year. When you play some of those teams in Boulder, tickets are going to go insane again. And so you're going to have increased money from the ticket sales, increased money from the Big 12 deal, and increased money from the boosters, the Buff Club, that comes into you on a regular basis. Ticket sales, donations, and media dollars are going to give Colorado an opportunity to really have an advantage over their Big 12 peers. What program in that conference is going to be able to touch what Coach Prime's Buffaloes are going to be able to do? Who is going to be able to recruit like them? Who is going to be able to attract the media attention and the prowess that Coach Prime does? Who is going to be able to rally their supporters to support the program and athletics? Listen, nobody else in the Big 12. It's not even close. Starting in 2024, as you guys know this, the Buffaloes are going to have some challenges with the Big 12. There are going to be some obstacles or some hurdles to overcome in a new, old conference. But with the funds and the rich tradition that Colorado has, those should really just be speed bumps. And they should be set up very, very well to navigate a new, old conference like we've talked about. The tradition and the history that are going to be there will set them up very well for success. Do you want to know the truth about that move to the Big 12? The truth that nobody else might be willing to tell you? Well, if you click right here, I'll be willing to do just that.